when I do the pre-screening, I always ask you, I need to know every single little injury that you do. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's a turned ankle that you had when you were 6. There's a compensation pattern that's coming from that needs to be corrected. And unless I know what your problems are, there's no way for me to actually design something for you to prevent that. And I don't think people do that. They oh, you look good. This push-ups. I'm like, no. Let's find out what's wrong with you. Let's find out what you've had, and let's go over those injuries. And the FMS is a great piece.
Yeah.
Ruthie.
Ruth,
I do similar. I definitely do a personal sort of assessment of where they're at, what are their goals, how long has this been a goal, what stopped them from getting there before, all those good stuff. I just took my certification in behavioral health with NASM, so I really have been applying. I had always been applying it, but more so now that it kind of like was in a book for me, and I was like, okay, I've been doing this anyways. But also I like to do my movement assessments or screenings with some basic movements, overhead squat, maybe a plank if they can do that, any type of row. I usually use a TRX. But what I like doing is I do something called an add-on assessment. So I'll do one exercise that I assess them in, then I do a second exercise, then go back to the first exercise, do the second exercise, do a third exercise, and kind of just go to see like how their body starts to compensate as they start to get tired. Because a lot of times, especially if you have someone who's athletic somewhat or has been working out, I know I can kind of disguise my compensation. So I want to see them working within the assessment, but also being fatigued so that I can see what their body tends to do at that point. And then find out, like what Eric said, find out what they do daily. I have a guy who's a drummer. He's been a musician his whole life. So he has like this really tight chest area, especially here, comes in all messed up all the time. So we're always working on opening that up, doing some lat work, which he never used to do. He was typical, always doing chest work. So he was making it worse. So yeah, that's what I do. Pretty basic stuff.
Basic stuff. but not every personal trainer out there is doing it. If somebody out there is a consumer, again, our tagline at the Demand Better podcast is we want to be the consumer's guide. So folks not aware of what the personal training space should look like, what the health space, doctors, medical doctors, physical therapists, any of that should look like. Here's why we're sharing these conversations.